Hi everyone, delonewolf here and welcome back to the Sunday recap, my weekly vlog where I talk a little bit about my last week in games. As always, we'll start with some EVE Online, and it's been a bit less than average in EVE Online. I didn't spend that much time there. I did work pretty hard on another one of the short format videos. That's coming next week. They are fun to make, but they also take a lot more time. So I do write out a script, take footage, then try to make decent audio and try to edit it at least a little bit so that it looks decent. So that's a bit of extra work. I would say that actually the hardest part is to find topics. So I'm still constantly trying to brainstorm in order to find other cool aspects of EVE Online that I could put in one of those short format films. Next to that, I am also of course keeping up with the Blueprint copy business. Very nice week last week, I must say. Several trips to Cheetah with dozens of sales and so new contracts to put up, so that's actually been surprisingly good. I refueled the station, so we're now good for another month, and of course I'm keeping up with PI. At the moment, a little bit of progress as well on my preparations for the moon mining, hopefully coming to 0.5 system. So I made a few more of the parts that I need in order to get another refinery built. So it's all going to go quite nicely. General vibe in EVE Online at the moment for me personally, I'm still just waiting on any fresh information from CCP. What are their plans? What are they going to do? What do we look forward to? I am going to try and do my best to keep a close eye on potential live events. Hopefully I'll also be able to warn you guys if something is possibly afoot, and I do want to join those as much as possible. But I think that last week the general vibe has been, why the hell did CCP change the chat windows, and how the hell is the botting problem getting out of hand like this with I think it was like 8 nixes, bot nixes getting nuked there. Really strange. So on the one hand, of course, yeah, useless UI changes that the players don't demand. I'm definitely not in favor for that either. But what I would like to see is that maybe CCP tries to sneak in some more of those changes that actually catch bots off guard and cause havoc there. I think that if they could do that without causing trouble to the general population that doesn't bot when it comes to the usability of the windows themselves, they might want to try and switch that meta up a little bit as well. Maybe that's part of the effort, I don't know. To be honest, it's an opinion and it's maybe not the most popular one, but I'd say just nuke locally in 0-0, get rid of all of that intel, and yeah, just watch bots disappear, I think, for a large part, because that is one threat to EVE Online that I do believe is real and that CCP needs to stay on top of. That is that I do think botting could end up killing the game if it spirals completely out of control. Next up is some Heroes of the Storm. I think I'm doing pretty well there. Sometimes I allow the quests, the daily quests, to rack up a little bit so that I'm doing the games a bit more efficiently, but sometimes I also do a couple of extra games, start working on other quests and things like that. So it's been going quite nicely. Still definitely by far my favorite playstyle is the Specialist playstyle, Zagara and Asmodan. I've also been trying a little bit of Gazlo. That's been going quite nicely, although when it comes to Gazlo, personally I do feel like you're very a lot more useful on specific maps, where basically allowing you to center your turrets around an objective that makes it a lot harder for the enemy to take him over is of high importance, such as I think there is one where you have to like take a tribute, grab 3 of them, and then the enemy defenses become obsolete basically for a while. That is one where Gazlo really shines, and there's a couple of others as well, but not on all maps, and something that for instance Zagara I feel is useful on all maps because she can push, she can also be very useful in PvP, and then for Asmodan you've got 2 builds. If you're on a very large map, you could go a minion build, but otherwise you can focus a bit more on PvP, go with some bombardments, or just focus fully on the beam. and be useful to the team that way. So Gazlo is a bit more situational, I feel, but potentially extremely powerful. I mean, there's been some games where we've really been able to siege the enemy in the right way around the objectives and around even the turrets, doing so offensively. So he's a fun hero as well. Need to explore him a little bit more, I think. Maybe I'll try to bring you guys some videos on him. And then I think also Assassins is something that I had to play a little bit for the quests, and there James Rayner is still my favorite. Definitely an easy one to play, because you basically want to take advantage of your increased range compared to everyone else. And then I like to focus on the basic attack, so it's all about positioning. You do have a pushback, you've got a self heal, and then you've got a buff, an AoE buff for your group. So he's all about supporting and being in the right position, but he's not that difficult to play. No difficult combinations to do some massive damage burst or anything like that. He's definitely a support assassin. I think he was described from as one of the viewers, and I would agree with that. But that's the playstyle that I enjoy the most when it comes to assassin gameplay. After that, probably my biggest time sink, because I did work a little bit on a next series, is gonna be Skyrim. I finished the series on the Legion, so I went through that entire questline. Quite interesting. It's basically my favorite aspect of Skyrim that came out practically every video, where you've got NPC on NPC action, so that stuff happens around you in the world of Skyrim, which is very, very cool. Of course, you're constantly attacking forts, taking objectives with legionnaires at your side, so you can either rush in as the leader, but you could also try to heal them up a little bit and try to disrupt the enemy, things like that. It's been a lot of fun, and that series is coming now on a weekly basis. I'm not sure when exactly it starts, depends on the slots where I chose to fill it up, but I think it's on a Friday every time, and it's definitely a lot of fun. I do now have a pretty damn powerful character, although I'm keeping the weapons on the low end so that I don't become completely overpowered. For me, the game doesn't become more fun when you become completely overpowered. In fact, that's usually when I say, okay, I just beat the game, I'm going to stop. So I'm keeping the weapons toned down, but I'm very tanky, strong resistances due to 100 enchanting, and I'm still working a little bit on getting better heavy armor, better block, and better conjuration. Actually, my favorite playstyle in any Elder Scrolls game is to be able to conjure up Atron arcs and all of that good stuff. So I'm probably going to play a little bit more of it, but maybe not in the sense of trying to get yet another series going. So I think want to play through the Vampire DLC from Skyrim there, but I'm not sure that I want to bring that. I've tried several times, I think, to turn that into a series, but it's just, I don't know, the pacing is off a little bit compared to some of the quest lines that you get in the base game. So we'll see how it works out. Maybe I'll keep playing, bring you guys some footage in the Sunday recaps or something like that. It's also possible that I'm going to start to focus on another project because in a couple of weeks Stellaris is done, and so then I need something else to fill that gap as well. And for the final game this week, I want to mention Tesla versus Lovecraft. So this is a game that's actually going to come out on Steam on January the 26th, and the developer actually gave me a key to take a look at like a closed beta is what it's described. So it's definitely not final. They might still tweak some stuff about it, but it's like a top-down shooter where you're playing as Tesla, and of course he keeps inventing cool weapons and cool powers to use against the horrors coming from Lovecraft. Really cool game, to be honest. I'm actually enjoy it, although obviously not a $60 AAA game or anything like that, but the gameplay seems pretty solid to me, and especially I basically spent a couple of hours and did like a first playthrough on the easiest mode, you could say, I think, is how it works, and they're very rewarding because every single time you unlock a new ability, you unlock new weapons that can then start to drop, and it is of course a build up every single level. So you start off with like a useless little pistol and the ability to teleport, but then on drops you can find better weapons, find power-ups, then you earn levels, and you can either choose to focus on your weapon or focus on your speed and survivability. All of that good stuff means that you can try out different things on all of the different levels, There's a bit of RNG there. I'm at the moment in the second difficulty, and sometimes, well, you're unlucky. You just don't get anything decent to drop when you need some AoE weapons, for instance, because it's just massive balls of enemies coming, and then yeah, you've got no chance to build up quickly enough. But it's enjoyable, and I think it's a pretty cool little game. A first look video on that is coming next week as well, and I thought I'd quickly mention it. So that's coming out on January 26th, and basically that's going to be it for this week. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I'll see you all next time.